Its change is always for the better. Find out how MSU is switching things up.
Finding a forever home. I'm Cole Brundage. Find out what a local shelter did to find families for their dogs and cats.
Chronic wasting disease. I'm Ford Polk. Find out what it is and how the state is preparing against it.
This path behind me is pretty bare. I'm Walt Hill with Take 30 News. Find out more next how the city of Starkville is putting new sidewalks on Highway 12 and how that may affect you.
Get ready for a cone zone as construction on a major road in our area starts soon.
That's right. Take 30's Walt Hill shows us what all drivers need to know and the project's price tag.
Highway 12 will be getting a facelift within the coming weeks. The city has approved to have sidewalks added to specific sections of the highway. This will be a $390,000 project and will take about a month to complete.
I would rather that we had sidewalks because people are walking in the roads, and it is quite scary driving down the road at night and not seeing someone until almost the last second walking in the road.
The first and busiest section that they plan to tackle is the Spring Street intersection, where they will add approximately 112 feet of sidewalk as well as a crosswalk. Drivers can expect some traffic as this is such a heavy flow area.
The Chevron station on Highway 12 is the most needed, where it sees the most foot traffic throughout the day.
The biggest section of sidewalk will go from the Chevron station on Highway 12 and will go west all the way to Taylor Street. 1,669 feet of concrete for this section alone. This section is the most needed as people are seen walking down the highway, which draws a major safety concern. The city plans to add a total of 14 upon completion. The city has budgeted for the entire project, which will cost $749,000.
So I think having sidewalks would be beneficial to the entire city.
The city plans to get construction started soon as they want to finish before winter weather sets in. Highway heartache. According to reports, some are upset by an interstate proposal that could cause hundreds of Mississippians to lose their homes. Construction on Interstate 14 is already underway in the state of Texas, and in Mississippi, the interstate would follow U.S. Highway 84 from Natchez to Brookhaven and then connect to the current Interstate 59 if Congress approves the route, that is. Lawmakers will be casting their votes on this by the end of the year. The Mississippi Lottery Corporation just announced that the lottery will be coming to our state earlier than expected. The brand new Mississippi lottery system will start selling scratch-off tickets next month on November 25th. The Multi-State Lottery Association has also approved Mississippi for Powerball and Mega Millions sales. However, those won't begin until the early months of 2020. The two major party candidates for Mississippi governor debated Monday for the second time in less than a week. Inside the WCBI TV studio, Democratic Attorney General Jim Hood and Republican Lieutenant Governor Tate Reeves argued about education, taxes, and the so-called brain drain, which is the loss of people moving to other states for other jobs, that is. Hood said Mississippi's economy has lagged behind those of other southern states for the past decade. He also said Reeves has given hundreds of millions of dollars in tax cuts to out-of-state corporations in exchange for campaign contributions. Reeves said Hood wants to raise taxes on companies that employ thousands of people, and that could only hurt the economy. The CNN New York Times debate on last night revealed some new dynamics in the Democratic presidential race. Senator Elizabeth Warren took sustained fire from multiple rivals. Former Vice President Joe Biden struggled to make an impact, and Mayor Pete Buttigieg and other candidates were newly aggressive in making their points. Biden called her health care plans vague and argued that she had never accomplished anything big. Buttigieg implied that she didn't trust the American people to decide whether they wanted to remain on private health care insurance plans. Klobuchar also denounced Ms. Warren's plans as a pipe dream. And Harris wanted to know why Ms. Warren didn't join her call for Twitter to bar President Trump from its social media platform.
Late this afternoon, negotiators from General Motors and the United Auto Workers Union have reached a tentative deal to end a 31-day streak by nearly 50,000 workers. According to reports, the tentative agreement needs the approval of both union leadership as well as the rank and file union members at GM before it can take effect. Union leaders from across the country were already set to meet in Detroit on Thursday. That had been taken as a sign that the two sides were getting close to a deal. It is not certain when workers will start returning to work. He was known by church members as Uncle Raggy. The now ex-youth minister has been indicted in a sexual abuse case. The Clarion Ledger reports 71-year-old Durrell Reese Ragsdale surrendered Monday after being accused of sexually abusing a 10-year-old girl nearly 45 years ago. He was indicted last month on a felony charge of fondling a child under 14. District Attorney John Weddle says in the indictment that the abuse happened sometime between 1974 and 1975 when Ragsdale was youth minister at Iuka United Methodist Church.
You don't want to eat this. That's why state health officials are warning hunters about a disease similar to mad cow disease that affects deer. Take 30's Ford Polk has the story.
Chronic wasting disease is becoming a big problem in North America. Currently, it is affecting 26 states and 3 Canadian provinces. 19 cases have been found in Mississippi so far, but is the threat of this disease affecting hunters in the state?
Not necessarily. It doesn't really affect how I hunt. I'm from Sunflower County and I hunt in Sunflower County, and there's no documented cases. The disease only affects adult animals and is always fatal. And what is the state of Mississippi doing to prevent the spread of this disease?
Number one was keep it out of your state. If you have failed that, and we have, our mission now is to manage it where it is and make an attempt to prevent it from spreading to other parts of our state.
In other states' cases, once you have the disease inside the state lines, it seems to spread, but MWFP is taking measures to slow the spread, such as making importation of deer into the state illegal and bans on feeding deer inside the 22 affected counties. MWFP is also asking hunters for help to keep track of the deer it has, and if there is any suspected deer, they are encouraged to report it.
We encourage people to report sick deer. We encourage people to obey these regulations. And we encourage people to continue hunting and harvesting deer and continue to purchase a hunting license.
The money from the license purchases help fund the state's fight, and the bag limits for deer become more liberal since harvesting more deer helps combat the disease. And although it is not mandatory, hunters are encouraged to report their harvests. Reporting for Take 30 News, I'm Ford Polk.
Experts say you can't tell if a deer has CWD in its early infected state, but if you think one might be infected, Mississippi does have 36 collection freezers for deer testing around the state. If you have any further questions or concerns, you can visit mdwp.com, download the Mississippi Wildlife app, or call 1-800-BE-SMART for more information. Don't go anywhere. We take you to a local adoption drive and show you how to do a life-saving self-examination after the break.
About becoming a teacher, but the challenges of life or travel restrictions keep holding you back? Mississippi State can get you there. With our convenient online courses, you can earn a degree in elementary education while learning from MSU professors on a schedule that works for you. And the best part? Graduates enjoy high job placement across the state. So why wait? Take the first step toward a better, more fulfilling career, no matter where you are.
I was talking with Special Agent Pete Stratton. He spends his days working to protect us from cyber threats. The dangers are advancing quicker than we can keep up with, he said. Stolen credit cards, malware attacks, altered records, and broader cases in areas like terrorism, white-collar crimes, and child exploitation. Folks shouldn't have to live like that. So I looked into becoming part of Mississippi State's cybersecurity program. We're a national leader in exploring computer vulnerabilities and identifying new ways to halt malicious attacks on the internet. And we're training top cybersecurity professionals who are destined for service in support of national defense. You know, it really bothers me that folks have to worry about risking their information as well as their family's security. Maybe someday, they won't have to.
While the numbers are steadily dropping, millions of dogs and cats end up in shelters every year. Take 30's Cole Brundage is with us in the studio with more on what a local shelter did this weekend to find these animals homes. Cole?
This Saturday, the local Starkville shelter took part in a nationwide drive that made adopting a new pet cheaper than ever to try and completely clear out the shelter. Saturday was a special day for the dogs and cats at the Oktipelo County Humane Society, like 6-year-old Duke, 7-month-old Phoebe, and 2-year-old Birdie, because that day the society took part in the nationwide Empty the Shelters event. Sponsored by the Bissell Pet Foundation, would-be pet owners could bring home a new friend for only $25. Society worker Erica Claycomb says that Bissell does even more than just lower the price.
What happens is Bissell will reimburse us for our regular fees, and that money is going to go back to help us get our animals spayed and neutered, get them up to date with vaccinations, and get them all the care that they need when they come to the shelter.
At the start of the day, the Humane Society had 75 animals ready for adoption, with the goal of the event to empty the entire shelter. And it's not just about getting adopted here at the Humane Society. It's also about making sure that dogs like this get a loving forever home.
We want to make sure that we find our animals the absolute best home possible. And some of these animals, they come from a rough start to life. Some have been strays, some have been neglected, and it's really important for us to find them the perfect forever home.
And for some of the animals at the shelter, that dream became a reality. Many people came out to get a new family member, and Claycomb said that getting even half of the shelter adopted would be a success. In Starkville, I'm Cole Brundage with Take 30 News. And in case you were wondering, Phoebe did end up going home alongside 28 other adoptees over the course of the day, though both Duke and Birdie are still waiting for that special someone. Rebecca?
Although the event may be over, you can still adopt an animal of your own. The shelter is open Tuesday through Saturday every week, and you can visit their website online at ochsms.org. Stick around because after the break,
Save the tatas. I'm Alexis Ellis with Take 30 News. Find out more on how to do your own breast self-examination.
Come from across the country. Some are battling brain tumors, others vertebral and spinal conditions. And as rewarding as our work often is, it can be frustrating at times. That's because brain and nervous system conditions are difficult to diagnose and treat, especially when they affect patients who can't talk. A while back, we saw a chance to start something special here, introducing innovative imaging to better understand brain and spinal cord diseases in cats and dogs. Having that type of information makes a substantial difference when developing treatment and surgical plans. It also aids in personalizing the rehabilitation process. The toughest part of our job comes when our patients are well enough to go home. As thrilled as we are to see them walk again, a big piece of our heart goes out the door when they leave.
Ask anyone who lived through Katrina and they'll tell you, a hurricane's rage can be mighty unforgiving. Death, destruction, despair, for as far as the eyes can see. The comeback that began immediately continues a decade later, and Mississippi State's Gulf Coast Community Design Studio has been here supporting these efforts every step of the way. Within hours of landfall, our teams were on the ground, surveying the conditions of homes and helping local residents with cleanup. We even relocated operations from our main campus some 5 hours away to ensure faster response time. Today, we're a national leader, partnering with local agencies to construct stronger, more affordable housing while exploring ways to make coastal communities more storm resilient. We don't pretend to know how to control the weather, but you can bet we're doing everything we can to control its fury.
cooler weather, but it also marks Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Take 30's Alexis Ellis shares one survivor's story and reminds us of the simple self-test that could save your life.
So far right now, I've been cancer-free for like 7 years.
The new Epsilon Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated hosted a Pink Table Talk event for cancer and breast cancer survivors to share their stories, just like Stephanie Robinson.
I found the knot myself, so I said it was in February of 2012. I waited until July of 2012 to go to the doctor, July the 9th to be exactly. And when I went to the doctor, they did the biopsy and told me they would call me back. And so it was that Friday, and I think that Friday was July 13th. That was on a Friday 13th when they called me and told me I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Check yourself. You feel it not, have yourself checked. Don't guess on it.
This is how you do a self-breast examination. First, begin with your hands on your hips while looking in the mirror. Look for any changes. Second, while also looking in the mirror, put both of your arms in the air. Also look for any changes. Third, while lying or standing, raise one arm in the air, use your other hand and use 3 fingertips and check for any lumps in a circular motion as well as up and down.
Every month, conduct a breast self-examination. Reporting for Take 30 News, I am Alexis Ellis.
Health experts say if you find anything unusual while conducting a self-exam, schedule an appointment with your doctor. On a much lighter note, October also means it's a busy time for sports fans. With that in mind, let's turn it over to Ben Phillips with Take 30 Sports. Ben?
Thank you, Rebecca. What a time to be alive, or at the very least, a sports fan. Coming up, we check in with NBA, MLB, and we find out if the Bulldogs are in the midst of a crossroads.
When you're the best, everyone wants to see what you'll do next. At Mississippi State University, our team of world-class rocket engineers is venturing beyond boundaries, building rockets like none before. We're launching a new era of space exploration. We've developed cutting-edge technology that's helping us build a rocket that can travel at 4 times the speed of sound. Fast? Yes. But more importantly, revolutionary. For you and for a space program that produces many of the conveniences we enjoy today. We're shaping your life in ways you never dreamed. What's next? Watch us and see.
Welcome back. By the time we meet here next week, the quest for the Larry O'Brien Trophy will be underway. That's right, NBA fans. The season starts next week. Let's take a look at what we could possibly expect this season. Big plays, dunks, and more dunks. Defense and blocks, highlight reels, hops, clutch defense and appreciation. Game-winning jumpers, posters, celebrations, and more posters. Clutch defense, acrobatic finishes start in less than 1 week. With NBA season less than a week away, things are not precisely running as smoothly as possible. On October 4th, Houston Rockets general manager Daryl Morey tweeted out a 7-word tweet: "Fight for freedom, stand with Hong Kong." Multiple sources have stated that China is furious with the league and Morey over the comment. Also, according to multiple sources, the comment could cost the Houston Rockets $25 million in sponsorships. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said he was not picking sides. Also, he stated, "I realize, as I said again, these are complex issues. They don't lend themselves easily to social media. I can't ultimately run the NBA based off on trying to satisfy everyone on Twitter." Can't get enough of MSU sports? Don't worry, we've got you covered on what's going on the rest of the week and the weekend. Your men's and women's tennis team are playing in Auburn and Baton Rouge Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The cross-country team is participating in the UAB Blazer Invite on Friday in Montevallo, Alabama. Volleyball is home against Texas A&M on Friday. Softball is heading to Birmingham. And then MSU plays host to the number 2 team in the country, LSU. 4 teams just turned into 3. We will have a new Major League Baseball World Series champion this year. The New York Yankees, Houston Astros, and Washington Nationals are competing for the crown and the joy that comes with it. The Nationals have a chance to win their first ever World Series by sweeping the St. Louis Cardinals last night. The New York Yankees have a chance to win number 28, and the Astros have a chance to win their second chip in 3 years. We will have the answer to the question by the end of the month. The Mississippi State football team through 6 games this season are 3 up and 3 downs, wins and losses respectively. But after 2 losses in a row to Auburn and out in Tennessee, both on the road, where exactly is this team headed? Best case scenario, the team wins its final 6 games and finishes the regular season at 9-3. Worst case scenario, flip the script. The team loses the last 6 games and finishes the year at 3-9, their worst record since 2006. They went 3-9 that year as well. This week, the number 2 team in the country, LSU, comes to town. Last year, LSU won 19-3 in Baton Rouge, better known as Death Valley. The year before that, State pulled out the upset special, winning 37-7 here at home, while LSU was ranked in the top 15 at the time. Can Lightning strike twice in a 3-year span? Even then, the question remains the same: where exactly is this team headed? That's it for sports. We'll have more Take 30 after the break.
You hear about it most every week in the fall. Some player, somewhere, is fighting for his life after a head injury. Those are the days when the game stops being a game. So I started thinking about armors in nature. For example, rams are protected when they collide. Could that guiding principle be applied to football helmets? We're replicating this process with the hopes of reducing concussions. We're taking strides to save lives. Why do we do this? For the praise? To be esteemed as research pioneers? No, not at all. This is for them, the kids, and making sure the game keeps being a game.
It's hard to fathom. By the year 2050, Earth will be home to 3 billion more people than today. And with rising populations and dwindling resources, one of the most pressing questions is a stark one. How will we feed everyone? At Mississippi State University, we're preparing a meal table where there's a seat for all of us. As one of the nation's leading research universities, our scientists are deploying technology to enhance crop production, developing vaccines to protect aquaculture, working to boost water resources here at home and in communities around the globe. And by partnering with the League of International Universities and the United Nations, we're guaranteeing that global food security is a priority for years to come. As our world grows, so do the challenges. But when it comes to how we will feed everyone, rest assured, Mississippi State has all options on the table.
You can't see it, feel it, or smell it, but almost all of us use it every day.
That's right. Changes are coming for MSU students as the IT department is set to pull the plug on MSU's old wireless network. Take 30's Shatoya Rita spoke with the Director of User Services and a student about the switchover.
MSU 1X Wi-Fi connection was the only one I knew since I transferred.
For years now, students at MSU have set a connection with their wireless network, MSU 1X. On October the 15th, the university is switching to Eduroam.
Eduroam is a free wireless network available to research institutions and education, higher education institutions.
Dejiana Anderson, a student at State, says she is very excited about the new switch.
I would say with the new one because the old one didn't work in every single place on campus, but the new one does. I had trouble connecting, but now it's fine. It works fine.
Unlike Dejiana, some student isn't okay with the switch and mentioned they are having trouble connecting. Teresa McMurphy, Director of User Services, said ITS is trying to minimize students panicking over their lost network connection by having them reconfigure before the deadline.
We're not really sure why they're having problems. We ask if the students are having problems getting their mobile devices connected to EduRoam. Please go to the service desk. It's located in Allen Hall, 108.
The switch is happening no matter what. So all students, faculty, and staff, pull out your devices and disconnect.
They're both encrypted, so they're both equally as safe. MSU1X and EduRoam are both safe.
For Take 30 News, I'm Shatoya Reeders.
For those of you who are still having trouble connecting to EduRoam, ITS says to remember to use your NetID at msstate.edu and your net password. Mississippi State's Gender Studies program is hosting a book lecture by Georgia Southern Assistant Professor of Sociology Baker Rogers. Rogers' book explores Mississippi Christians' belief about homosexuality, gay, lesbian rights, and whether having a gay or lesbian friend or family member influences those beliefs. Beliefs about homosexuality and gay and lesbian rights vary wildly among religious affiliations. Admission to this event is free and will be held 6 to 8 on the 4th floor of Griffiths Hall.
That's all the time we have for tonight.
That's right. Thanks so much for joining us. And remember, you can always follow Take 30 News on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Take 30 News MSU.